and all the tender complaints on the side. They tell if you don't allow, then they'll shout outside to the watchman. So it is the hygiene is the responsibility of all the people involved inside there.
But from the government's part, what is being done?
Government part will see that the cleanliness should be maintained. That will take care.
Right, Mr. Yuti Khadar, thank you for speaking to us. Well, that was the Health Minister who went on to state that the Hassan District Hospital comes under the Medical Education Minister, and that's the reason why he cannot take a call on what is the kind of action should be taken. But he said that the government is doing all it can to maintain the hygiene, but the people are not maintaining the hygiene. Well, the blame game can continue till to eternity, but at the end of the day, it is a family of a little child that is suffering at the moment. Is the little one who breathed her last after being taken in for a minor infection to the hospital. The body was taken for post-mortem to a Hassan District Hospital, but there the body has been bitten off by rodents. What does it speak of India? Well, much is publicized about how India is shining, how India could be the next superpower, and we're talking about GDP growth and economic growth. But what about the level of treatment to these poor people in the hospitals? What about the sick in the hospitals? Is it only about the rich in India? Well, definitely many questions being raised. While on one hand, the government, Mr. Yuti Khadar, who is the health minister, claimed that all is being done, and he has even sought a report. He has asked the family members to file an official complaint regarding the same. A report will be prepared, and after that they will decide whether to take action or not. Certainly raises questions on whether the government understands the intensity of such an incident. Well, my colleague Nolan joins us back on the phone line. Well, Nolan, quite ironically, the government feels that it is doing all it can to maintain the level of hygiene in government hospitals, and that it is the people who are coming in who are dirtying it.
The government, like I stated earlier, Nishita, the government is going to come out with these statements that they are doing all they can in order to see to it that government hospitals are clean, that government hospitals are equipped, that government hospitals have the best of facilities, that the government hospital seconds have the best of doctors and the best of nurses. On and off, they keep saying these, but actually step into a government hospital and you will see how dirty it is. Doctors are hardly present. It's the nurses, like this lady, the woman who actually stated over there. It's the nurses who actually run the show. The doctors are there only for a particular point of time, and that's it. They are out of the hospital. They are back towards their private clinics. Now, no one says that they should not have private clinics, but their main job as a government hospital doctor would be to actually give priority to the people over there. People are coming to the hospitals because they trust in you. They have no way to go. They don't have the money to go to private hospitals. So when they come over there, they really want themselves to be treated properly. They want their illness to go. They want that from the doctors, but rather you don't see doctors, you see nurses. Now the government keeps saying that it's the people dirtying the place. What stops the government from actually making sure that everything is clean over there? You have a lot of people, they say there is no unemployment, underemployment. What stops the government from actually getting people to make sure that the government hospitals are clean, hygiene is maintained over there? What stops them from keeping extra security staff to make sure that people don't dirty the place? It's just the will. The will is not there. The government does not have that.
Right. Thank you for joining us with all those details there, Nolan. Well, there we have it. Quite a shocking incident there being reported from Hassan, where a little child that was admitted to a nursing home for a minor infection breathed its last, but the doctors who shifted it to the district hospital for post-mortem failed to attend to it the way should it have been, and the body was bitten off by rodents. Speaking of the horrible level of hygiene maintained in many of these district hospitals. Well, as politicians spar, Bengaluru continues to suffer. This was on display once again today in the Assembly as former Deputy Chief Minister R. Ashoka and Chief Minister Siddaramaiah took friendly jibes at each other.
ಮಳೆಗಾಲ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಮಹಾನಗರ ಪಾಲಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಕಳೆದ ಬಾರಿನೂ ಸಹ ಮಳೆಗಾಲ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಆದಾಗ ಈ ತರ ಆಟೋ ರಿಕ್ಷಾ ಕೊಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಾರ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಚ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು, ಈ ತರದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾ ಹೇಳಂತದ್ದು ಬಿಬಿಎಂಪಿ ತಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಬಿಬಿಎಂಪಿಗೆ ಆ ಶಕ್ತಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಬಿಬಿಎಂಪಿ, ತಹಸೀಲ್ದಾರು, ನಮ್ ಡಿಸಿ, ಸರ್ವೆ ಅವರು, ಈ 4 ಜನ ಸೇರಿದ್ರೇನೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಬಿಎಂಪಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ದೇವರಾಣೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. 100% ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಶಕ್ತಿನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಡಿಸಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಟಾಸ್ಕ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾಗಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. 2 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾಶ್ವತವಾಗಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ.
ಈಗ ಅಶೋಕ್ ಅವರು ಅನುಭವದಿಂದ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಅನುಭವ ಅವ್ರ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗ ಬಳಸಿದ್ರೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅನುಕೂಲ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಬೇಡ ಅದು ಬೇಡ ಬಿಡಿ, ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಅರ್ಬನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಅದಾಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಯು ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಇವರು. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನಗರಕ್ಕೆ ಉಸ್ತುವಾರಿ ಸಚಿವರಾಗಿದ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನೋಡಿ ಆಗಲೇ ಈ ತರ ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ. ಇದು
ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರೇ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಬನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. ಅದೊಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ. ಅದೊಂದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು.
ನಮ್ಮ ಉಸ್ತುವಾರಿ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ರಾಮಲಿಂಗಾರೆಡ್ಡಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪವರ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು.
ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್.
ನೀವು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಂದಿರವರು?
ಪಾಪ ರಾಮಲಿಂಗಾರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೂತ ಅವ್ರು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ. ಇವಾಗ ರಾಮಲಿಂಗಾರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅವರು ಕಸದ್ದು ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
Well, volley of jibes there between Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and former Deputy Chief Minister R. Ashoka. While on one hand, R. Ashoka went on to propose that to minimize the kind of problems that will crop up in the monsoons that have arrived, but once the heavy rains arrive, then the kind of problems that will crop up in Bengaluru need to be tackled using a task force that should be put in place, as the BBMP seems incapable. To that, instead of looking into the suggestion, the Chief Minister merely stated that R. Ashoka could have implemented all these suggestions when he was when his party was in power and when he was a cabinet minister, but unfortunately he didn't do all that and is now throwing in suggestions. To this, R. Ashoka responded by taking jibes at Ramalingam, who is the Bangalore in charge minister.
You are ಇನ್ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಇವರು. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ನಗರಕ್ಕೆ ಉಸ್ತುವಾರಿ ಸಚಿವರಾಗಿದ್ರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನೋಡಿ ಆಗಲೇ ಈ ತರ ತಪ್ಪಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಡ. ಇದು
ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರೇ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಬನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. ಅದೊಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆ. ಅದೊಂದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಮಂತ್ರಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು.
ನಮ್ಮ ಉಸ್ತುವಾರಿ ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ರಾಮಲಿಂಗಾರೆಡ್ಡಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಪವರ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನಾನು.
ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್.
ನೀವು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಂದಿರವರು?
ಪಾಪ ರಾಮಲಿಂಗಾರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೂತ ಅವ್ರು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ. ಇವಾಗ ರಾಮಲಿಂಗಾರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅವರು ಕಸದ್ದು ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ.
And well, in a shocking case of kidnap, a businessman and his driver were abducted in Bengaluru. The victims were identified as businessman Vinod Ramaswamy and his driver Raju. The duo was kidnapped from their Innova car near Roti Ghar Hotel in Uttarali at around 11:30 p.m. last night. The kidnappers demanded a ransom of 20 lakh rupees for Vinod's release. Vinod instead asked the kidnappers to take him home to get the money, and this is when all the drama unfolded. They drove to his residence and reached there at around 3 a.m., but the family members of Vinod panicked and started screaming. After which, the kidnappers stabbed the businessman Vinod 8 times and dumped him into the car. The 7 miscreants, however, fled the spot and with his Innova car and also snatched his mother's chain and mobile phone in the process. The kidnappers also took his driver along with him. He was later released at Talaghattapura and his car was also abandoned there. The businessman Vinod has sustained 8 stab injuries and is said to be in a critical condition. He has been admitted to a private hospital. The incident took place while he was on his way home from Majestic. My colleague Harish takes us through the details.
We are here in Kumaraswamy layout in front of Vinod Ramaswamy's house. Vinod Ramaswamy was kidnapped along with his driver by 7 miscreants last night near Rotigar on Uttarali main road. After kidnapping them, they have taken Ramaswamy around the area, and once Ramaswamy got to know that they are not going to leave him, he has got them here to his house in Kumaraswamy layout. This is where 7 miscreants were in the Innova car, Ramaswamy's car itself, and after which they have 2 of them, 2 miscreants along with Vinod Ramaswamy, have got down from the car and they have entered the house. They have thrashed Vinod Ramaswamy's father and mother, and that's when people inside the house started screaming. That's when they, looks like the miscreants panicked and they have stabbed Vinod Ramaswamy 8 times all over the body. These are the blood-stained marks from Vinod Ramaswamy's stab wounds, after which once the people inside the house started screaming, they have snatched the chain of Vinod Ramaswamy's mother and mobile phone of Vinod Ramaswamy. They have dumped Vinod over here. These are blood-stained marks from the Vinod Ramaswamy's stab wounds that he sustained, 8 different stab wounds that he has sustained. Later on, they have fled from the scene, taking Vinod Ramaswamy's driver in the same Innova car. Later on, the driver and the car were abandoned near Talgatpura, after which they have absconded from the space. Over here, Vinod Ramaswamy was immediately rushed to DG Hospital, where he's currently receiving treatment. In the meanwhile, the police have started investigation. They have recovered the footage of the CCTV camera over here. There are 2 CCTV cameras in front of the house, which has captured quite a bit of visual evidence, and the police have recovered that. They are trying to investigate to see if any faces can be identified, any faces of these miscreants can be identified. They are also interrogating the driver who was with these 7 miscreants to try and gather more information on where they went after abandoning him near Talgatpura, and were they speaking in any language that the driver identified, or does he identify any of these miscreants? These are some of the things that the police are looking into, and they are hopeful that they can crack this case very soon. With camera person Gurcharan, Harish Upadhyaya, News9, Bengaluru.
Well, in fact, that was regarding the case involving a businessman being stabbed 8 times by miscreants. Now, questions are being raised on the probable involvement of his driver, as well as the driver was not attacked in any way. Only the businessman was attacked with a knife. Let's also listen into what the father of the victim had to say, what transpired exactly once the accused barged into their house.
ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ನನ್ನ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ರಕ್ತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇತ್ತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ನೀವು ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ಅವರೇನು ಜವಾಬ್ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಒಂದೆರಡು ಏಟು ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಅವರು ನನ್ನ ತಳ್ಳಿಬಿಟ್ರು. ನಾನು ಮೆಟ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿದ್ದೆ. ನಾನು ಬಿದ್ದಿದ್ದು ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರು ಓಡೋದ್ರು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೆಂಗಸದ್ದು ಸರ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಮಗನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿದ ಅವರ ಜೊತೆಲಿ. ಆವಾಗ ಅವರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೈ ಕಿಚ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಇತ್ತು ಕತ್ತಿ ಥರ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಳೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ರು. ನನಗೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಳೆದ್ರು ಈ ಕಡೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಕೆಳಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ಓಡೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾನು ಅಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೋದೆ, ನನ್ನ ಮಗನೂ ಅಟ್ಟಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡೋದ. ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ನಿಂತಿದ್ದ ಕಾರಲ್ಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರು.
Well, students of the St. Joseph's College were seen on the streets today to educate Bengalurians on measures to protect the environment. They were seen holding different placards with messages to switch off ignitions at traffic signals, to prevent littering on roads, and other enviro-social messages. They were even seen picking up garbage from the streets to spread awareness about the importance of keeping the city clean. Let's listen to what a few of these volunteers had to say.
We have a program with the college called the Igniters, where it's a 2-day program about life skills, and this particular program is about increasing awareness of the environment amongst the people, which includes turning off the engine at the signals and not littering the city. So we are going around picking garbage in a view that someone will look at it and say, okay, the next time when I'm about to throw something off on the road, I won't do it. And we're also taking signatures for a petition for a petition against water privatization. We're going and talking to people randomly on the streets and talking to them about the perils of water privatization, and that's the aim of this project.
Basically, first of all, it's about the traffic rules. We are trying to tell other people to save fuel as much as we can, because it will be useful for our future generation. And next thing, we are going and picking up the garbage, and indirectly we are telling them message that please don't throw the dust wherever you want to. Initially I felt little awkward, but then I felt very good that I have done something good to, at least for this part, if not for anything bigger. I have done something good for a smaller part. Maybe if we all will contribute small, it can make a huge difference.